Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Bone Podcast, where we discuss all things crypto market. That includes the majors like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, meme coins, and of course, NFTs. Today, we're going to discuss streamer coins taking over the meta. We're going to talk about on-chain activity heating up as we saw volume across different chains, different asset classes all weekend long. Love to see it. And we're going to talk about Hyperliquid's USDH bid, with native markets winning that over the weekend. GM, busy weekend. I was pretty much tied up all weekend. I was trying to get as much on-chain activity as I could because things were hot. I was at my parents' place while my house was being toured and people were running rampant through my house. It's a really weird feeling knowing that people are just walking through your house for entire days. So that was odd. They broke one of our drawers in our kitchen. That was a fun surprise to come home to last night. Like, what are these people even doing? But that's besides the point. We're here on a Monday. Everything's good. Everything's lovely. I'm joined today by Sig and Easy. If you're listening on Spaces, give us a like, give us a comment, give us a bookmark. If you're feeling extra generous, give us a retweet, get us out there in the algorithm. If you're listening on YouTube, give us some comments. Let us know what tickers we should be looking at. Are there any CCM coins that are undervalued, under the radar? We'll be buying live today on Rhythm. That being said, joined today, Easy and Sig. Sig, it's been a week. How you feeling? How's life treating you? What's going on?
Feeling good, right? I know what you mean about people coming to your house and when they come around. I swear, some people, they come in and I'm like, are you here to like actually buy a house? Or are you just here because you're one of those people who like to snoop around people's houses on a weekend as a hobby? Like, I've seen people come in and just be like opening the kitchen drawer, then opening the secret kitchen drawer up down there, which is normally just keeps, like sharp knives and stuff, and then they go into your bedroom and then they're like opening every single drawer possible, and I'm just like, yeah, this is more of a hobby for you, I can tell. So I agree on feeling uncomfortable because it is very uncomfortable, but hey, if they're going to hand you a big pile of cash for the house, then just get used to the uncomfortableness. It's all going to pay off. No, aside from that, it's been a good weekend. Yeah, things were hot. Things were just button clicking this weekend. It's weird because I had like personal stuff to be doing at the same time, so I couldn't be at my computer clicking buttons, but I was trying to do as much as I can. But it definitely feels like things are heating up in anticipation of the data coming through this week. But we're gonna get into that. All in all, just know it was a good weekend. It was a beautiful day to be in crypto on Saturday and continued into Sunday before we went down. A little bit cloudy, but I think it gets sunnier.
Yeah, I think I agree. Easy, how are you feeling? How was your weekend? When are we going to get you back in the office?
I don't know, Ray. You're on the wrong mic, and it's driving me insane.
So my Roadcaster is completely jacked up right now.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say before you started the show. I was like, I think it's a Roadcaster issue. Your mic's wrong. We couldn't hear the music, and I just tuned into the morning show, like Space, and Sig's audio comes in at like basically a fraction of the sound, but it sounds fine on StreamYard.
So it's my Rode. Okay. Why don't you chat for a bit, Easy? I'm gonna try to fix some things really quickly.
Yeah, hop off and take care of that. Sig, I'm gonna remove Ray just so we can deal with that. Sig,
I'm gonna shout. Yes.
No, your audio was fine. I'm telling you, your audio was fine. Like, I heard you fine. But the weird thing was, like, when I tuned into the show, it sounded weird. Sig, I got rinsed on my heavy Emmy bet yesterday.
All right.
What happened, man?
There we
go.
Tweets,
You're good.
Your tweets have me on the edge because I've seen you tweet out stuff like the iPhone, no, and I'm like, oh, bless, easy, sorry, man, and then you're like, yay!
It's taking him
what's been going
the journey,
on?
which is the funnest part, because it's like, dude, I don't watch the Emmys. Like, I did a ton of research on it though last night, and the issue was I placed this bet knowing that I was so back and forth on it, and when you're back and forth on a play, you should not place the play. You should just sit idle. And the issue was I had like conflicting data where a lot of like the Severance was the show because Emmys are for TV, cleaned up at the creative Emmys. But then the issue was the Pit, which was the other show that ended up winning the drama series of whatever for the year, won the drama award, which has what they call a 70% barbell, which means like basically if it wins this previous award, 70% of the time it wins the next one. And I should have taken that, just ride the trend, but I didn't. So I ended up getting rinsed on that because I took Severance, knowing that Severance was a couple years old. Pitt was new. The likelihood they gave it to him, I don't know. It's just been fun to research these markets though, and watch like a live show, award show, and how prices change. The other thing I found interesting was I found a line that was terribly mispriced on a prediction market versus what sports and gambling markets priced it at. Best Supporting Actress had this individual Hannah Eidenberger at minus 400. So you would have to bet $400 to win 100. So like a huge, huge favorite. Prediction markets had her at a 60% chance to win. So you were getting like 65% of every dollar back on it. And so I just hammered that. So that made up for all my losses. I was like, yeah, this feels like a no-brainer. But obviously during the live show, it wouldn't be my life if there was not drama around Eric Adams dropping out. And rumors came out saying he was going to drop out this week. Odds surged for the September 30th line, which I had just posted my long form thesis on why I liked it. So they surged up to 75%. Yes, he would drop out. Then his team came out and called them all idiots, said, you guys are just spreading bullshit. He's not going to drop out. And the odds shifted back towards my favor. So I ended up buying that dip pretty heavy. I've just been liking prediction markets.
Easy. I got a question here. So as I understand it, when we discussed last week, these markets, these individual markets are chosen by the poly market team, or whoever we're talking about. It's chosen by them. And we've seen some really controversial markets come out recently. What's your take going forward as to who should be the deciding factor as to whether a market should exist or not? And how do you think that's going to play out and affect these different platforms?
I mean, it's going to sound messed up, but like, it's one of those things where all press is good press, right? Like, that's kind of the thing here is like, as controversial as the market line is, if the platform's setting it and creating those lines, they're gaining traction in eyes. Like, that's kind of like the end goal is like, sometimes you need that shock value. I'm not a fan of those markets. I don't trade them. I don't want any part of them. But I understand that from a media and content perspective, Polymarket makes no money right now, right? There's no fees. So how do they make their money? Probably advertisement, probably through raises. How do you get more users on a platform? Controversial lines will make and draw interest. So that's kind of it. Like, you almost have to lean into some level of controversy to get more attention at times. And on the opposite side of it, you have Kalshi, which doesn't have like a lot of those controversial lines. They had more of the Emmy lines, which I was interested in. Like, they had individual awards, whereas Polymarket only had the major final award. And they take fees, so they don't need as heavy as of the like almost attention grabbing market, which is interesting. But I don't know. I like there's thousands and there's hundreds and thousands of lines that like I don't need to participate in some of those like shitty ones, the controversial ones. Like, I'm good. I don't know. I look at that and I'm like, I don't need to participate in this at all.
Yeah,
like
no,
I can just participate in the stuff that's interesting to me that I can actually research. Like, some people think it is still gambling, yes. Like, but the nice part is you can find an edge. Like, you can find data that supports a thesis stronger than what the odds percentage is of whatever that chart is.
The question was more around, do you think markets should be chosen by the public, or do you think they should be chosen by the teams?
By the teams. Every time.
Because why? Why is that?
If you let the public dictate a market, you're going to get even more absurdity. That's the thing. Or you're going to get markets that have no volume. So now you're ending up supporting a bunch of different markets that have very little, if any, volume at all. Like, that's where my brain goes. When I look at that stuff, I'm like, why would I want individuals to create markets that no one else is going to care about besides maybe a handful of individuals? Whereas the team has done a decent job curating stuff and giving you markets that a wider audience is going to care about.
Yeah, I like your answer on that. I think it's very sensible. I suppose my next thought on this is like, you kind of have to just squeeze as much as you can out of these markets while these inefficiencies are still there. I don't think these inefficiencies will be there forever as prediction markets become more and more efficient and become more and more popular. So it feels like that early stage where you can just rinse as much as you can, but bearing in mind that
I almost counter that argument.
Really?
I think there
Why?
will always be inefficiencies. Like, forever. Because the thing is, like, for certain lines in certain markets, you're not going to have bots that can monitor every single market. For the major ones, sure. And for most of the sports ones, absolutely, because there's enough data points. For something like that line that I took yesterday, which was Best Supporting Actress of a Comedy Series, was the line I took. It's a very niche line. There's only like $50,000 worth of volume on it. But I found that line and saw it on DraftKings at minus 450. And the math on Kalshi was they had them closer to like minus 150. So I was like, okay, this is a clear discrepancy where odds makers are much more in favor of this line than a peer-to-peer market because somebody's selling shares or buying the other side of it at this lower level. So unlike those arbitrage opportunities of like traditional markets where the house is involved, and many times they'll run an arbitrage opportunity to make money themselves, you as an individual are the one that's looking for inefficiencies from another individual. So somebody else is bidding something. Like even last night, someone was clearly not aware of how the order book works and pumped a couple lines up to like 97, 98%, which let me buy more shares of the person I thought was going to win for a fraction of the cost. Just purely because it was clear that these people were not like conscious of what they were doing in the order books. And on any traditional TradFi market, if you have a gap that large, you're going to see a bunch of volume cycle in through bots that clear that arbitrage opportunity. I think Tristan even brings it up well. I've been trading a lot of college football on Kalshi too, because the odds in live games shift a lot more than what the actual live odds are in a sports book, because it's a more of an emotion driven market on prediction markets than anything else. It's not algorithmic. It's not many of those other things. It's more emotion. It's more individuals are buying and selling these situations as quickly as they can. So I think that's what has me the most interested is like you bring up the fact that you think sometimes this arbitrage opportunity will lessen, it'll close. I think there will be times where it does, but I think there will always be discrepancies in pricing that you can take advantage of.
Cool. I think it's a really good take. I'm keen to get more into the prediction stuff. I've got some stuff. I've got some bets open, not too many, but I definitely need to dig into it more and find like my little corner of the internet for prediction stuff, because I do actually think it's really fun. And your whole, but I'll tell you one thing, my ego, wow, God, she's loud. She wants to close the bet on the day. Like if it's interest rate, I my instinct is to sit there and I want to be right. I want to be right that Powell has taken that decision and that was my bet. But the feeling is I need to take a leaf out of your book and basically don't do that and close it earlier. And that's how you actually make more money. So even just going through the bets and just sort of having to like navigate your emotions, like basically your ego versus your risk management style has been a learning within itself. But I think prediction market's really fun. And
it's IQ versus EQ. It's like your intelligence versus an emotional intelligence, because it's like that it's like trading though. Like I've been able to get to a point where I do not need to even think about the emotional side of it. Like I can just trade based on the data and let it work. And if it doesn't, I can get out. Like if new information presents itself, I can exit the position. And it's also like me and Kicks talk a lot. I close almost all my trades before resolution. Like if it shows that it's at 99%, I'm going to close the trade. I do not care about the last 30, 40, 50 bucks because I would much rather get that capital back and look for the next thing.
Yeah, no, it's going fun. I'm eager to see where this goes over the next 12 months. I think the prediction markets will be one of the strongest metas for Q4 going into Q1. Ray, did you want to do the weather report before we move on?
I do. If you want to pull that, one last thing I wanted to bring up though is like the emotional thing about it. Like I feel like with these poly market bets, I have much less on the line than I do with crypto bets. And like I just feel this like urge to like have that hit. Like it's like at one point I was on like the no for rate cuts this year for like, you know, a couple $100. I'm like, oh, no rate cuts, here we come. Like I'm willing to sacrifice my crypto bags to be right on this small poly market bet. This is like weird mental framework that happens when you're like in these like gambling prediction markets that I thought was like pretty funny.
Yeah, on the rate cuts, I've literally been calling my friends in finance. I'll be like, "Yo, can I speak to your quant? What does he think's gonna happen?" It's just crazy. Like, I feel with the prediction markets, I don't know, like with crypto, I take a decision very quickly and I can go in and out of stuff very quickly. I don't have to overthink it. But with the prediction stuff, I just feel like I have so much more noise in my head as to what I should be doing, which is going back to Easy's point. That probably means you shouldn't even be in the trade at this point because you don't have enough conviction to resolve it to the end. Or
that's why I like them. I almost like that there's not as much capital as like a leverage trade. I almost like that more because like I have to be comfortable with this trade to make it. Like the books are more liquid. Sometimes they're longer playing out. But like, dude, I've been sitting on this Eric Adams one for 22 days. I don't make leverage trades that last 22 days. I don't make Memecoin trades that last more than 22 minutes. You know what I mean? Like that's the difference is like you have to be able to form a thesis and let it work. And I think that's interesting. It's truthfully, you guys are like, oh, it's added more stress and I want to watch the chart. For me, it's been so much better because I can just buy these things and I don't worry about getting rugged. I don't worry about a PVP market popping up. Like, dude, I was golfing and on a trip this past week, and I've had these markets open the whole week. If anything, I just added to new stuff. So it's like that feels good because most of the time I'm like staring at trades and watching charts and having to do all this other shit. And like I didn't have to do that. It was great.
Easy. Can you answer Tristan's question? Do we think Polymarket is going to do a token or go the IPO route?
Both. Both.
Interesting.
Governance token, IPO route. Maybe. The IPO I think is less likely than the token, personally.
Yeah, I think
That's where my
token
head goes.
supply market is like kind of like what I've heard.
I think Kalshi goes public.
Yeah.
US approved already. Yeah, it'll be interesting. But I mean, Donald Trump Jr. being on the board for Polymarket is really interesting to me as far as like what route or angle they take here.
Yeah, I mean, Polymarket just upped their valuation to $3 billion too. We saw that on Friday, come in midday. 3x over their old valuation. That being said, why don't we kick it away with the weather report, Sig, and then we'll jump into the show.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's get into the weather report. I have some
I'll be back.
I've got some funky audio issues going on, so I'm just going to go straight vanilla, just no background song, a cappella, Monday, September the 15th. Looking at the crypto roundup, the majors, they pulled back slightly over the weekend. You got Bitcoin just under 115, Ethereum at 4,500, Solana at 235, and Hype just over 53. Thank you for the music, Ray. Over the past weekend, firstly, streamer coins propelled massive volume into Memecoin with Pump Fund hitting 3 million in daily revenue, a figure not seen since February of this year. Creator rewards sparked the action with token devs claiming over 20 million in fees over the last week. On the back of the action, the Pump token crossed an 8 billion FDV for the first time since Feb this year. Next up, Native Markets, they're the winner. They have won the hyperliquid USDH bid as expected. After winning the bid, they announced that the USDH rollout will be quick and will launch within days. It is imminent. And then finally, Tether unveiled USAT, a US-regulated dollar-backed stablecoin. Tether has appointed Bo Hines as the CEO of the project. This comes just a month after he relinquished his role as the executive director of the President's Council of Advisors on Digital Assets. That is all for the weather report. It is back to you folks in the studio.
Excellent weather report as always, Signal. Lots to break down there, lots of news. I was actually sharing the screen, but I wasn't sharing the screen. I was like switching tabs, but I didn't have it up on the screen.
So people just saw you just fiddling around on your phone. Nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Really.
Yeah, just trying to adjust the spaces, title, get everything set. Yeah, we saw like a lot today. A lot of news today. Pump Fund, USDH with Hyperliquid, and the Tether stablecoin. The Tether stablecoin news broke Friday. Bo Hines quickly went from White House exec to on board with Tether to CEO of their dollar stablecoin. So crazy to see that happen. This will be very interesting as Tether has a stranglehold essentially on stablecoin volume. Like Tether is like the stablecoin in terms of fees, revenue, volume, etc. So interesting to watch this one, see how this goes, and how the US kind of accepts it. Like, I could see this potentially being like
Giga Chad move.
Yeah, stablecoin. Yeah, stablecoin like of choice in the US potentially. We'll see though. Pretty interesting news. We had the Pump Fund news, tons of volume over the weekend, tons of creator coins. I was on Rhythm like all weekend looking for stuff, looking for plays. If you haven't signed up for Rhythm yet, you can. Bodalgos.com/Rhythm. I'll put it up on the stream here for YouTube. It's already pinned in these spaces, so you skip the wait. Access their meme coin trading platform. This platform is an absolute cheat code. We absolutely printed on Kindness Coin. We talked about this on stream, I believe, yesterday, or no, sorry, not yesterday, but on Wednesday, I believe we streamed. Bought 2 Solana of this, made basically like 18 SOL on that trade. Found this via their first wave and signal surge indicators. This was first surfaced on Rhythm at 288K. It's now at 28 mil for Kindness Coin. This thing's pumping. I'm completely out of the position. Sold overnight. Big win on that. We've also seen a number of other big creator coins pump here. Bagwork, we caught this at 1.4 mil on Rhythm, all the way up to 26 mil now. Missed out on this one completely. Bun Coin, I caught this probably right above 1 mil on Sunday. and bought in, and then this thing immediately pumped when he went live on Pump Fund. So another big win that I found directly on Rhythm on First Wave and trending tokens. So this is basically my cheat code for this Creator Core meta. Looking at their trending, see what's already launched and gotten some a little bit of support. Looking at First Wave to see like tokens that could potentially run as well. Seeing which creator coins could be interesting. And then from there, kind of just like deciding due diligence. Hey, is this something that's interesting? Is this something that I want to jump into? But definitely watching this one. We'll see if we have any coins to trade over the weekend. If you have any creator coins that we should buy during the show, shoot us tickers in the spaces in the YouTube chat as well. I'll be keeping an eye up. I'll have tempo up. I'll have our First Wave up as well, getting notifications to see what's coming and what is moving in terms of creator coins and meme coins right now, because we are very hot, and I'm really curious about what is going to be showing up here. I'm seeing a lot of this Feed the People and Oscar. Easy, have you been messing with creator coins at all over the weekend? Were you locked into prediction markets, or were you following this at all?
I did not trade creator coins at all.
No,
literally at all. Yeah, not at all. I don't know. I wasn't like terribly interested in it. I looked at them, I followed them, I watched like what was happening, but for me, after I started seeing just like a bunch of old washed up streamers who haven't streamed in God knows how long show up and start making hundreds of thousands of dollars, I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm not terribly interested in this. So kind of just passed.
Do you think this is here to stay? I mean, this feels like a pretty hot opportunity right now with a ton of volume in the trenches.
There's definitely volume for sure. But like for me, it was just once again, like, why am I gonna try to figure out who the best streamer is or who's rugging or who's not? And then I looked at the data, and for like Dune Analytics and some of the data there, it doesn't show that there's new wallets entering the space. Like it just shows that it's recycled money largely.
Yeah, that's fair. This is the first time I pulled this up.
So wait, easy. Going back on your point, if you saw new wallets being created with that and of significant size, with that
real quick, this person said I was sidelined because I wasn't early. We got into Kindness Coin or Kind Coin, whatever the hell it was, at like 2 mil. Like, what are you yapping about? Like, I just don't find enjoyment watching terrible, shitty streams from people who haven't posted a tweet in 2 years, now coming and extracting $150,000 in fees. I'm not interested in that. I'm sorry.
So easy. Going back to my question, if there was lots of new wallets being created, would this be of interest to you?
Way more interesting. I'd be like, I'm not saying there's not money to be made. Absolutely. Like, that's interesting. I have been watching this GoPro cat Oscar. This is fun. I like that. But like, if wallets started surging here, I would be way more interested. Because right now it's greater fool's theory. Your hope is that by these streamers are going to increase interest and lead to more new users coming to the platform, buying your bags at a later date at a higher price. Sure, that's interesting. But the data doesn't show that. The data does not show that there's even a remote increase right now in the number of wallets on chain. Like, you're not seeing a new surge in new users coming in and buying these tokens. If you did, that's way more interesting, but it's not there yet. Because like, until you have that uptick just across Solana users in general, you're basically hoping that these don't tread down, you know? Like, Bagwork was the one that was the most interesting. They wore the ticker on the t-shirt. They had multiple viral moments. But now my concern for them is what's going to be bigger than what they've already done. They had a private jet. They leaked Drake unreleased music. They got slapped by Bradley Martin. Like, they streaked at a Dodgers game and got arrested. Like, that is huge. But now what? And it topped at 40 mil. I think those kids are grinding. I'm extremely happy for them. They made $200,000 and essentially changed their lives right now in the last 7 days. That's an unreal situation. So I'm a big fan of the idea of these creator capital markets. I think that the outpaced earnings that they receive comparatively to Twitch and Kick is unreal and absolutely a huge opportunity. I'm very interested in that. I think it's awesome to see Pump Fund get a bunch of new streamers and even some Web2 names involved. But you have people like Bun Bun, which this person hasn't tweeted or streamed in 2 years, retired League of Legends person. Why the hell are we buying this coin? Like, Bun Coin sitting at 4.69 million. The creators made $200,000, and all they are is a retired League of Legends person. Like, Why I would never watch the live stream. It doesn't seem interesting to me at all. Nothing about them sitting in front of a computer talking about a video game I've never played seems interesting. Like, I don't know. I look at FaZe Sway. They've been involved in a bunch of stuff with Dookie Dash and some of these other Web3 games. They're streaming again. That's cool. They made $200,000 in an hour and a half of streaming. Good for them. But like, I'm just not interested in buying those coins. If I were to buy something, it'd probably be this Oscar the Cat live stream of a cat with a GoPro on its head. Like, that's fun to me. I would watch that stream. Like, that's interesting. I like the kindness coin. Feed the People's interesting to me because it's another donation one with fees going to homeless and feeding the homeless. I'm interested in that. Like, there's stuff like that that reminds me of what Mr. Beast did when he first started, where he just gave back all the money, donated to small streamers, did a bunch of donation stuff, and that tends to get good viral aspects of it. You have to think what can go viral outside of crypto Twitter. Kindness coin started going viral on TikTok and Instagram, hence its run up to, I want to say it touched 40 mil. Yeah, up to 40 mil. Now, of course, it is since started retracing. Feed the People, kind of a competitor to it. Bag work is interesting, but I'll see where it goes. Other than that, though, these streams aren't enjoyable to me. They're not enjoyable. But I think this person's here for my office, so I may have to go.
Another big winner we had. Clemente tweeted about this. I hit pretty big on this one too. Stream Guy. Remember the guy who started Pump Fund streaming?
Yeah, I
This
remember
guy.
him.
This guy, he started again, apparently launched a new ticker, and Clemente like tweeted about it. And I was like, wait a second, like this is interesting. Bought this one at 111K after seeing it on Rhythm and clipped out a couple times. I'm still holding a decent amount of this one, but this one was like a big win. Yeah, like 1200% win on that initial investment. So I was busy with these creator coins, and the way I'm approaching these is, yeah, just like Easy said, like what has the potential to go viral outside of like the initial narrative. And I'm like interested in looking at like other things. Like I traded like a low cap one I thought was interesting. I'm not going to say it because it's just very low cap this morning. The GoPro cat is interesting to me. I just bought that live because I think that is pretty cool. Like you can just think up narratives in your head. Like he makes money on fees. He like tricks out like the cat's like living areas with some absurd things. There could be cool stuff that happens here. So I just bought that one too on after Easy mentioned it. But I'm like keeping an eye on these. Keeping an eye on like when they pop up on Rhythm and just looking to create that narrative of like, hey, can this like get can this grow past crypto Twitter essentially? Like is the narrative good enough? Yeah,
I think it can, Ray. I suppose it's not only can it grow past Twitter, it's like can it grow past like, because you're gonna get like that. Let's say only like you're gonna get the OnlyFans people, girlies come in, or like whoever it is, and you got like, are you gonna get really good, serious creators coming in? But I feel like once you have that segment of people coming in that already are on Web2 products that have really good content, I feel like you kind of miss the wave, if you like. I think people are like jumping to the conclusion of the demise of this product, because we've seen it so many times with other products that they just, they go up, they go down, and you kind of just become completely ambivalent to just a product not doing well. I'm not saying that these creator coins might not follow that path as well. I'm just saying that before you get to that end point, I still think there's a lot of money to be made. I still think what you're doing, which is getting into some of these coins really early and then like exiting as soon as possible, is a good idea. I wouldn't want to be sitting around holding this stuff, but I just feel like right now is the early stuff, and they're going to have their mistakes, but I feel like this team is actually showing that they're willing to adapt, that they're willing to take off. Like we saw what happened with live streaming last time. And from the community feedback, they took away all the content that people didn't want to see. So they've learned their lesson. And I feel like they're seeing that this is a product that could potentially work and attract the right people. But we're still at the very, very early stage. And it's not something that I would want to be sidelined on. I feel like get your hands dirty, get into it, but keep your eye on the data as to, are there new wallets coming in? What is the product? Is there actually good content? Because that will speak to the longevity of the product and whether it goes through the, death spiral, or whether it actually comes successful and follows the path that the founders want.
Yeah, I think I absolutely agree. Sorry, we're having some issues with volume. If you could give me feedback in YouTube again, JE, if you can hear everything all right now. I'm trying to adjust the levels. I think my Rodecaster, something's going on with it. I'm trying to like increase signals volume, decrease my own. Just give us feedback in the YouTube comments or Spaces comments about how it sounds now, and I can make adjustments from there. Yeah, creator coins. I'm like really excited to look at this because like on-chain activity has kind of been dead, and I think we're seeing a bit here. So this could spark more. I'm looking to mainly get into things like sub 5 mil though, and then try to flip like some of these higher ones that have already ran. It's hard to jump in at this level to get the same like risk adjusted return. So I think that's where I'm at with creator coins. Another narrative that we saw pop up over the weekend, big news on Friday, Gemini went public. So Gemini's IPO went public on Friday. We're up 7.6% since open. Love to see another crypto company get out and have a successful IPO. We're sitting at a $4 billion intraday market cap. So love to see that for Gemini. Big fans of what they're doing over there. Love working with them. Wanted to highlight that because we saw that on Friday. The big news this week, though, is the rate cut coming. So Wednesday, we're going to have the FOMC decision. They meet Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday, we'll get the decision in the afternoon, and then Powell will be speaking afterwards on Wednesday afternoon. So it looks like basically the thought process here is one single rate cut of 25 bips. This is sitting at 90% on Polymarket. A 50 bips decrease is at 9%. So you do a little addition. That's 99% chance of at least a rate cut. So no rate cut and everything goes to shit. Pardon my language there. But it looks like we're pretty much like aiming at one rate cut. And the key takeaway is going to be what Powell conveys in his speech afterwards. Is this the start of multiple cuts? Like, are they want to cut once now, and then are they targeting cuts next month? Like, how is he approaching like the rate cutting cycle for the next 2 FOMC meetings this year, one in October and one in December? I think we've talked about this a bunch on the show. I think we're pretty much in unanimous agreement right now, based on the data at hand, that we see 3 rate cuts, one each FOMC. Are you still under that same kind of framework right now, Signal?
Yeah, I'm still under that framework that we'll see like one every FOMC. The thing I was thinking about today actually was, even though we've had all these signals that he's being dovish going back from J-Hole in August, I don't know if you've noticed this trend, Ray, but every time we're meant to go up, literally we go up for 5 minutes and then there is a piece of news that takes us back down. And this has happened, I want to say, in the last 3 to 4 months, like at least 2-3 times. And it's really weird because the timing has been just so perfect. So I know a lot of people are obviously positioning to go long, which totally makes sense to me. Like that is how I would position myself objectively. But at the same time, I'm just like, are we going to get another piece of news that just like takes us back down again, which has nothing to do with the crypto itself, but is has some, like, you know, some, whether it's a war, whether it's a tariff, whether I'm just trying to run through the events that have happened. But that is what is on the back of my mind going into this rate cut, that there could be some kind of news that just takes us back down. But I think this weekend has almost been the most fun, if you like. It's like the speculation of what is to come. So everything was pumping and we haven't had the event. So because crypto is always like running ahead of itself, it feels like once the cut comes through, will we actually see more of a run? Or is it that the assets which you would think would move have already moved, so you might actually just sort of see a little bit of stagnation, and that's my theory without any external bad news. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting week. I think going into it, I'm not doing anything. I'm not taking any bets. I feel like I've already positioned myself. The weekend was really fun, but then going into this, it's just kind of like, let's just see if my bags pump off the back of the news that they're meant to pump, and that's the logical move. So we'll see, Ray. But yeah, it's interesting because like the job market hasn't been doing too well. So got a 25 basis point cut being at 90%. I think last time I looked, but I need to double check, rates were showing more 50 basis points, but like we will see if that's the case. I think it's going to be 25, and then we ride it out for the rest of the year. But I'm just hoping that like, this is where we go back up. I think if we see an all-time high between now and December across Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and some of the other alts out there. I'm hoping we get an all-time high again across all of these assets.
Yeah, I think so too. And I agree with that sentiment too, that you're saying like it seems like something bad always happens. It's non-crypto related that does nuke the tokens for a bit. It seems like everything's set up now. Like everything is set up to be bullish for Q4, which has been kind of everyone's target is like Q4 2025. Hey, it's on. One thing that was interesting, like you were saying, all the coins were pumping. Like this weekend, we saw on-chain activity in pockets, but looking at like the meme coin majors, like we didn't see that run. Majors were like even or down, like as these creator coins were pumping. Over the last 24 hours, it's been red across the board for all the major meme coins, down like 5 to 7%. Over the last week, I mean, up slightly, but they're being outpaced by the majors almost. Like Solana's outpacing all of those meme coins over the last 7 days. So we haven't really seen meme coin majors like hit a repricing event or get a ton of traction, which is interesting. If this creator capital market like continues to heat, one thing that like I would consider would be like throwing some longs on some of these meme coins as people like sell the top of the creator meta and then kind of like get anchor back into some of these major memes that have been like steady in the past. Because I think people see a new like narrative and they have their meme coin bags and they're already deployed in some of these and they rotate. So rotating into these before they run again seems interesting to me. If we do have a true meme coin season, these market caps, I mean, there's only, was this 1, 2, 3, I'm not counting meme core. I don't know what that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 meme coins over a $1 billion market cap right now across all chains. So I'm going to keep a close eye here, looking to maybe like long some of these. If we are getting signals that like, hey, like a meme coin season could be here. If we do see a top on creator capital markets, that's something that interests me as well.
I think what's also interesting as well is like going from Easy and Clemente's 10K challenge, the recent one that he had, over the next 30 days, thinking about whatever you rotate in, like what is it you actually want to hold on to? Because we saw Clemente's portfolio just get absolutely destroyed, and Easy's was up. It's blurry on my screen, but is that like 20%?
Yeah, Easy's 24%. Up. Yeah, 24%, 12K. Clemente is almost down a full 50% on this one.
Yeah. Here is the legend himself. Easy. We're just talking about the performance of your portfolio versus Clemente, and then sort of like thinking about that, and then looking at the next 30 days. How would you position? Ray's talking about potentially selling the top of the creator coins and then rotating into the major meme coins. And I'm just thinking, actually,
hold
I don't
alts.
think I want to be. Yeah, I want to be in alts. I don't want to be in major memes.
Pump fund here. I would sell pump fund here. Ray, can you go back to that list? I would sell pump fund. I would hold Athena. I would sell Litecoin. I would hold Chainlink, and I would hold Hype. And then I'd probably add ETH. And if I had to add a fifth, that's tough. But
I'm going to say, can I add to your portfolio? You can kick it out if you want, but I'm going to say AVAX for the fifth.
Yeah, I would add AVAX. I like that. I would add AVAX. But I mean, dude, I kicked Bitcoin's ass too.
Yeah, Bitcoin's down 3% over the last like 35-ish days right now. So yeah,
you bought alts, you won.
Yep.
Everyone called me crazy. Yep. Everyone called me crazy. Easy W's.
Yeah, I should have taken. Actually, no, I didn't call you crazy because I said you're going to win, but I should have put it on Polymarket. But I don't think the market existed at the time when we did it.
It was on Myriad. Myriad.
Oh, was it on Myriad?
Like
okay.
67%. So you could have got in and made like a 45-50% gain. But Clemente got absolutely mollywopped. Like, dude lost by $7,000. He almost lost by the entire portfolio value, which is fucking nuts. Like, how bad is it that you almost got literally kicked in the teeth?
I felt for the man because when you did that challenge, you're like, right, alt versus Memecoin. He's like, yeah, 30 days, yeah, 10K each, yeah.
And I was like, real quick, one rule: you cannot trade. You have to hold. And he's like, absolutely, I'm believing in something. And I was like, okay, yeah, you just dug your own grave. Like you dug your own grave, laid down in it, and then started just pulling the walls in on top of you slowly. Just continued to dig from the sides until you recovered.
I felt for the guy, but hey, it's a good lesson in the type of market I think that we're going into for this last Q4. But did any of you guys do Punkstar over the weekend, Ray? I saw you were in it.
Real quick, Ray, I have this TokenWorks Soulbound NFT.
Yep.
Was I supposed to get some of this?
Nope. But you're getting fees. You're getting 1%. You're getting 1% of all volume.
It just goes to my wallet?
You'll claim it.
There's a claim?
There will be. It'll be a perpetual claim. It's part of the contract right now. You can actually do it. Let me just go over the whole thing. Let me just do a complete rundown on what this is. All right. So essentially, over the actually late last week, Adam Rhinotic on Twitter, he released a new project. It's called the Perpetual Punk Machine. It comes with a token, PNKSTR. What this does is it uses fees to purchase punks and list them higher. When a punk that it lists sells, it takes that entire amount of ETH and it deploys it, buying and burning the token. Over the weekend, we saw a ton of action on this. It has acquired now 6 crypto punks that are now listed. It ran all the way up to 30 million, a $30 million market cap, peaking yesterday on Sunday. Now sitting at about 17. The fee structure is there's 10% buy tax, 10% sell tax. 8% of that goes to the punk, like treasury, essentially. 1% goes to their team. 1% goes to holders of the TokenWorks NFT. And if you remember, we talked about this TokenWorks NFT on the show when it was minted. I know Kix minted, I minted, you minted Easy. I think you tweeted about it as well. A bunch of the Bodogos are in. And essentially, this is like his 3rd or 4th project. The other ones have been like very interesting, but they just haven't caught the success that this has. So this one caught a ton of interest over the weekend. I have some of this. So like full disclosure, I own like 500,000 tokens here of this. I bought some around 2 mil. I sold up over 20, most of my stack, and now I'm holding some still. So full disclosure, I own this token, but I think it's cool. That's why I hold token here. We haven't seen something like this before, where like there's like it's sort of like a treasury, but it's also kind of like not, because it's selling the assets underneath. So we'll see what happens here. Regarding your question with the claim Easy, like the TokenWorks holders, he's going to be putting like a front end on the site where you can claim the fees. I think right now it's like $1,000 based on the current volume has gone to TokenWorks per TokenWorks NFT. And those are minted. I think it was like $2,500. One ETH was 2,500. So pretty cool project. Yeah.
Quick question on this. So first of all, it's a really cool idea. I really like this. Do you think we can see other collections try to do this?
Well, Adam is working on building it out for other collections. So he's building like essentially, I don't know if it's a launch pad or how exactly it's working, but he's essentially building it out so like other NFT collections can kind of fork it. And I think that like some of the fee would go back towards the initial like punk treasury is what's going on with that. Yeah, but I think it's interesting. Here's Kix talking about it on the TokenWorks site. I think it's interesting. It's something new. I don't know like what the right valuation is of the token versus like the amount of punks it holds, because right now it's at an $18 million market cap and it holds, 6 crypto punks at a like 48 ETH floor. So you're looking at what's that valuation right now? If you're looking like straight asset valuation, 48 ETH at 500 ETH times 6, you're looking at like $1.3 million worth of punks it holds right now. So it's trading over 10x like NAV. But it's like interesting too, because if you think crypto punks are going to get to this 55 ETH point, that's a big liquidity event for the token that's going to pump it like X amount. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Cool project. I'm involved through holding the token directly and also through owning the TokenWorks NFT. So like I am invested in seeing it succeed. I would like to see it succeed. And it'd be interesting to see what happens if it releases for collections with smaller or like lower floors, because you would see more velocity on buys and you would actually see some like quick sells. Like, I don't know how soon the CryptoPunk floor is going to get to 55 ETH, but if you're buying like Moonbirds at like 2.5 ETH and that gets listed 20% above, like that could hit pretty quickly and start having an interesting flywheel effect. So we'll see what happens. Interesting to watch this one. Any other thoughts on this, Sig or Easy?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just it's such a smart way. Like when I think about NFTs and what I want to have exposure to, or even like thinking about meme coins, like I don't want to hold too many individual meme coins, and I'm also talking about creator coins as well in that bracket. It's just too many things to think about and too many things to watch. But I want to have strong exposure to the meme coin sector, so having Pump is just the bet that I take, and then you hold it until Valhalla. Great. So with NFTs, I'm thinking the same thing, and the one thing you want to have exposure to is punks for sure. And I feel like this is a really good way of being able to at least start that without having to actually deploy 55 ETH into buying a pump, and then buying a punk, and then having that ETH obviously sitting there locked up. So I like this. I like this a lot. I would take the bet just to ride the NFT market if your long-term belief or medium-term belief is that NFT market is going to go up going into Q4 and Q1 next year.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much, I pretty much agree with everything you said. Like, it is like kind of like exposure to like long-term exposure to punks, but like you also have to like babysit it a bit. So like, if you think punks, like you're betting on this, like, hey, punks will get 55 ETH. There's going to be liquidity events. They're going to acquire more punks. They're going to start selling them and pumping the token. Like, you have to be around when these punks sell to like capitalize on that liquidity. Because I'm sure there are going to be people who are like waiting for this first punk to sell, seeing that 200K buy hit, and then like, arbing down a little bit, selling some token into it. So like, it isn't like a set and forget. It's like a set and like, hey, once punks hit 50, 51, 52, 53 ETH, pay attention to your token holdings and look for a potential like liquidity event that you might want to exit at. Speaking of NFTs, another NFT that we talked about last week, Clemente gave his bull thesis for, was the Moonbirds NFT. The Moonbirds mint, where they had the mystery boxes of physicals. I doubted him on the show and then ended up buying some anyway afterwards. I think I saw Cyrus buy like a very large quantity on Friday, and I was like, okay, well, he doesn't miss. I'm going to jump in. These were the 12 packs sold for $300 a piece. And now they pulled back a little bit. They got all the way up to 3 SOL over the weekend. So you do quick math, that's like over a 2x. Right now you're sitting at 1.86 SOL at 240 SOL. You're still up 50% on your initial buys if you got some of these boxes. $450 USD right now is what these are selling for. I think the thesis many people are hoping for is like, hey, like these give you trading cards, or like, hey, maybe there's some sort of like Moonbirds token like allocation for these. Easy, did you buy any of these? Sorry, 2 questions. 1, did you buy any of these physical boxes? And 2, what's your dog's name?
Not giving you an answer to 2. The answer to 1, no, I did not. I missed it. Dude, I've been entirely on mobile. So like for me, it's been a little bit more difficult. Look at this little shithead.
We've got Easy, for those just listening, we got Easy with his dog live on screen in his lap. Oh, damn. What a cutie.
He's just a demon, because we finally got the drywall people fixing the office. So hopefully this office gets done this week, just in time for me to leave for Asia on Monday. So I want to get to use it for 2 weeks.
Yeah, speaking of that, we're going to have some fun over the next 2 weeks. Boys are going to be in Asia, whole squad. So I'm going to be holding down the fort. I'm going to have a lot of Signal on. We'll have a lot of kicks on, and we're bringing on some special guests as well. We have a lot of people you may or may not be familiar with in the space coming on over the next 2 weeks to join our crew. If there's anybody you want to see, leave us a comment. Jump in the Discord. Give us some
I want CZ to come on. Brian CZ. Armstrong, CZ. If you can get SBF, that would be pretty cool, I guess. Satoshi Nakamoto would be a good guest if you are taking requests. Who else?
What about BitBoy?
Yeah. No, we could pass on BitBoy. I'm good. That one I'm fine with.
What about Bo Hines? Bo Hines, maybe?
I
Trump?
would take Bo Hines. Not Trump. Trump Jr. He seems more in touch. If you could get Barron, that would be really interesting. I got a lot of
Baron would be
questions.
fire. Baron, if you're out there listening
Barron
right
would
now,
be-
you probably are. Jump on our
Barron,
show.
if you're on your alt, just pull up. We promise not to ask any incriminating questions, but I need to know what your wallet address is.
So Ray, just really quickly, going back to the collector cards. The Moonbirds boxes, right? What's your take on what's going to happen there? Because I got some as well, but I have so many theories going through my head. What do you think it's going to become?
Well, like the absolute bull case is like, hey, these become each individual, like one of is a box of booster cards that would probably retail at like 100 to 150 bucks. So if you do the math on there, like that's super moon math for each one's like selling for $1,000, 3 to 4x what you paid for it. So like that's like the ideal like final state. Cherries on top, like any kind of token allocation would be interesting. Also, like along the way, there could be like any kind of Spencer pumping going on, teases to this, anything that could like send price. Like I'm not like sold on holding these till reveal. Like I haven't sold any yet, but I'm not sold on holding these to reveal. Like if we get back up, like maybe to that like 3-4 range again, I might trim a couple to try to like basically recover initials. And then also like if they end up becoming something that is like there is like a reveal or like a manual like collect or reveal or open or claim, like it's then deflationary at that point. So if it's something that's like, oh, you could hit X, Y, and Z that's rare, it hasn't been found yet, you now own some of a deflationary chance to get it. So like there's a lot of different angles that I see that it could like pan out. And like when you see all of those different angles, like you can make like, okay, I think that this is kind of like an asymmetric bet at the $300 mark. It's kind of like my thought process originally.
Yeah, so it's interesting. When I saw this, I saw it quite late. No, I saw it and then I parked it in my brain as an action to do. And so I went and bought some, and I didn't buy many. And then I was like, oh, and I checked Spencer's Twitter, and then I watched the video. And if you watch the video, you're like, okay, clearly there's something more going on here. And he wouldn't reveal anything. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna ape, and I'm gonna just close my eyes and go for it, which I did. And also, the other red flag as to I thought why this was something more than a collectible was the fact that who sells a collectible and only keeps it open for 24 hours? Like the whole point is to, sell as much plastic as you can. So I was like, that's a bit weird. So did that. And then when it closed, I saw Cyrus tweet that he'd bought $41,000 worth of this collectible. So I was like, balls are tingling. I was right. If Cyrus is in, there's money to be made, which is great. I think I have no idea what's going on here, but I know Spencer, he's a little bit of like Wizard of Oz or, pulling the strings. And I'm on the same page as you. I think obviously you're going to have the figurine, but I think there could be a little bit of like what Ovi's done with Rect, that token in there as well. I think that could potentially be it. I think if this is a good way of sort of like expanding the Moonbird community, because this was open to anyone to buy it, so you can easily reward people who don't have any of the NFTs with this in some kind of way. So I think there's going to be some kind of reward mechanism here. I don't know what it is, but for me, the whole like open for 24 hours was just like too obvious that there was something more happening there. Because if you want to shift merchandise, you obviously want to shift as much as you can. So we'll see what happens with this. Right now, they're trading as if there's something else, there's more value to come. What that value is, we don't know. But I believe it should reveal sometime in Q4. I think he said maybe Q1, but he's going to try for Q4. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm interested. Like, I'll continue to watch. I don't think I'm going to buy here. Like, if I buy sideline completely, maybe I would consider at this price. It's still like 50% over what was the initial sale. He did make a very big point to point out that this is the biggest RWA primary sale on Solana ever, for something like this. So I know Spencer is very good at marketing. He's very good at like moving markets with speculation. So interested to see what's going to happen here. And I'm very happy with what I'm holding at this point. You touching these at all, Easy? Being somebody who didn't buy initially?
No, not at a 3x, 4x for what they were.
1.5x right now.
That's actually not bad. That has me a little bit more tempted.
Yeah, it's like 450 USD, and it was a $300 mint. Is essentially where we're at right now.
Dude, kudos to Spencer.
Yeah.
Kudos to Spencer. That's all I could say. Dude raised 1.7 mil off this, and it's a black box.
Yep. Like, I mean, theoretically, he could even not know what it was until after they raised money. Like, they could have went into this thing like, hey, we have option A, option B, option C, depending on how much we raise and how much we want to make them happy, and then just pick whatever like threshold they hit. So, pretty cool. It's 10 o'clock. We've got a lot to talk about over the week. I think we've covered everything over the weekend. So we're going to wrap for today. Thank you all for joining us. It's been a wonderful Monday. We went over a ton. We do this podcast Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. You can catch us on all major podcasting platforms, Spotify, Apple. You can watch us on YouTube. See what we're talking about in real time. See the charts, see the graphs, see the marketplaces. Thanks again for listening. Have a wonderful Monday. We'll catch